Join us tonight and every Sunday, 9:30 p.m. at windowsontheworld.net for our Sunday shows. Do look out for uploads during the week, and they are in the archive on the live shows page at windowsontheworld.net. Do take a look around the website. Our last show, Watching the Watchers, is going to be carried on in a way tonight. We're going to look at the Guidestones of Chaos. The Georgia Guidestones have been demolished after being blown up with explosives. Is this symbolic? We're not going to get into all that. We're going to get into what it actually means. We're going to go back into archive documentation and look at who R.C. Christian, the man who actually commissioned the Georgia Guidestones, really was. Of course, it's a Rosicrician effort. The whole thing is based around Rosicrucians and the Rose Cross. We've covered that. We did an article and many shows all about the Rosicrucian mystery. Mystery, of course, in inverted commas, because what the Rosicrucians have actually been part of is, of course, the global cult. Whether they were absorbed into it is now of no matter of interest whatsoever. They are fully on board with the protocols of the elders. They are a Kabbalistic organization and always were. So we're going to go into that tonight and what it really means. And more importantly, what is it that these people are actually afraid of? They are absolutely terrified of certain things. And we're going to go into what those things are and why Thomas Paine was quoted on these stones with his new Age of Reason. The Age of Reason was all about trying to debunk the Bible and saying it had been written in the third person, etc. This was published in 1788. The Rosicrucians, of course, first appeared around 1610. Their manifesto, the Forma Fraternitatis, was released publicly in 1614. We're going to go into some of that, but more importantly, what the whole thing actually signifies, because this actually looks like a multipolar front now. It looks like an age of chaos. Sabbatean Frankists such as Sabbatai Zevi and Leo Frank, who came a bit later. Look them up. We can talk about them tonight, but we're going to get really into an overview because we've covered this many times before. And the whole thing about the Rosicrucians you can find in the Rosicrucian mystery, which goes into Sabbatean Frankism and how the connections go through the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry with its Rose Cross degrees. And of course, Scottish Rite is absolutely Kabbalistic, unlike the York Rite, which is why the Scottish Rite has attained more power and more useful idiots and more influence globally. So all this is fascinating. We're not going to get too esoteric because, as I have said in the recent shows, such as the Protocols of Power, we're getting everything into a series of statements which may cause an outbreak of thinking. This outbreak of thinking is, of course, going to be restricted to those who can think. So there is already a minority of people who can think. And that is something these days when you actually put that together, because the dumbing down has been pretty successful. And of course, those who believe they're opposing are enabling. That's what this is about, the synthesis of fire and water. This was all talked about in 1992 by globalists such as Edmund de Rothschild, Maurice Strong, Stephen Rockefeller. And all of this is actually concurrent with what the Rose Cross are all about. They are not a Christian organization or a Kabbalistic organization who hide behind a Christian front, a very popular way of steering the public. And we're going to get into that tonight because there are the real and the stated goals. So in other words, there's always a front for everything. There is a cover story and the real story. So join us tonight and every night. Every Sunday night at windowsontheworld.net. Indeed, I will be putting up more stuff during the week. I've got quite a lot of stuff to put on our Odyssey channel, so do subscribe to that. If you'd like to engage with others of a like mind, or even get into some interesting information, we do have a Discord channel which you can join, and that's on the homepage, windowsontheworld.net. Hi, Greg. Good to see you there in the chat. Greg Silverado, long-time listener. Yes, Knights Templar. Yeah, of course, but we're not going to get into all that allegorical rubbish which has spawned hundreds of pointless documentaries. We're going to get into one documentary tonight, though, and that's called Dark Clouds Over Elbert, which was made in 2015, and the original people who participated in the creation of the Georgia Guidestones are interviewed. It's quite interesting that these people have been, in my view, hoodwinked as to the real goals behind the stones. And yes, it's a good thing to talk about, I think, because it ties in very much with what we were talking about last week. There are some interesting statements, interesting to say the least, that were revealed in that film. So do have a look at it. And we're going to take that a bit further tonight, looking into what these people are actually scared of. So join me, 9:30 p.m. UK time, every Sunday, windowsontheworld.net. Just going to have a quick look at some of these comments. Yes, Colette, that is what we're going to be talking about. Control through governments, bankers, elites, so-called elites. The new elite, of course, aren't really elite. They're just billionaires. And most of them have very flawed thinking. That is one of their problems and the Achilles heel, and will be covered in tonight's show. Great. Okay, everyone. Do take a look at the archive. If you want to help us out, please do. It's just me. And I put this stuff out. I've got a lot of stuff I want to put out in the future. And the feedback I get back from the listeners makes it all worthwhile. So thanks for listening, and do join me this and every Sunday. Bye.